Hello everyone, and welcome. We're going to do something a little different today. I've got my sleigh all loaded up. I've got my snowshoes, which I'm about to strap on, and my pack is in the back of the car here. We're about to take a walk. I brought my Onetigris Iron Wall tent and my stove. We're going to come and spend the night out here. We just got a little bit of fresh snow yesterday, just a couple of inches to add to what was already here. So let's strap on the shoes and go out and get set up. Now let's go see what we can find. So this, I believe, is going to be our spot for the night. It's going to be a great night. I leave my sleigh here. I think I got a nice spot back there to leave my pack. So now that the pack is off, I think this right here is my flattest area. It'll be best to set up the tent right up here. Now I think I've tamped down an area big enough for the tent. What I want to do now, I plan on having an outside fire. So I think I'm going to tamp down an area for the outside fire and possibly go collect a little bit of wood and let this freeze a little bit in the hopes that it'll stiffen up a little more and make it easier for me to drive my stakes in and set up the tent. I've just tamped down a small little area where I can have a campfire tonight. And I cleared a little spot so that I can buck up some firewood. Now, in all honesty, I've been here before. I haven't camped here. The last video I did where I just came out and had lunch is actually right around the corner over here. I walked right past this spot on the way in, and on the way back out, I stopped and had a look around. It is a small campsite that some people use in the summer. It's on Crown land. So I decided it's a great spot that I can come and set up the tent. When I was here last weekend, I had already made the decision that I was going to come. So I did cut a few dead standing logs and I stashed them in the woods. Those are for my inside fire. For the outside fire, I'm just going to gather up what I can find today. So I've got the Agawa Boreal 24. I've put on my work gloves. Let's go see if we can find some wood for the outside fire. Now this right here is dead. A lot of the bark is off. The bark that is on is coming off very easily. So I think this would be great for the outside fire. And I might actually be able to use some of it for the stove as well. And it is long, so I should get plenty of wood out of this. And there we go. Just so happens that there's two trees here, nice and close together, and they'll act great as a spot to stick my wood so I can cut it. Stick it between, give it a pull. And I'm basically using the weight of these two trees so that I can just break off the pieces. I've got 4 rounds that I left a little bit longer, and they'll be great for making the base. Piling up my wood, going smaller and smaller as I go. Breaking up a few smaller branches for when I light the top. I love lighting the fire this way, because basically once I light it, I play with it for a minute or two with just small twigs to get it to burn. Once it's burning healthy, I can step away and do other camp chores. The fire will take care of itself for a little while. Now I just went and gathered up some birch bark. And we're going to do something a little bit different this time. A few months back, God, I think it's been 4 or 5 months now, I was on Facebook and I joined the Facebook group Canada Survival and Bushcraft. Now, a lot of people are going out and posting videos of their trips, pictures of trips that they've done, or stuff that they do in the wild. It's a great little group. There's constantly tips and tricks, but the other day, I don't remember, I'm really sorry, but I don't remember who it was that posted it. But they were talking about they had received a split pea lighter. Well, I took one look at this thing, and they were saying it's great to have on a keychain for emergencies, and I thought it was a great idea. Look at the size of this thing. Now, it screws nice and tight. It's got a little O-ring gasket to keep it sealed. So when you fill it, it should stay full for quite some time. Teeny tiny, you fill it the same as you would the Zippo. See this thing? Definitely something different. And now we know it works. Now, I'm not saying run out and buy one. I'm not saying, oh my God, it's the greatest survival item. But it is a handy little toy. Being as small as it is, it's probably not going to light a million fires. But if you prep your birch bark like I just did and have your twigs nice and handy, you don't have to light it for very long. So you should be able to get at least a few fires out of it. Now while that's burning down, let's see if I can start setting up this tent. So hopefully this area has been tamped down enough that I can take off my snowshoes. So I'm slowly going around and pegging it in roughly where I think it's going to be. I'm going to let those freeze, and then later on, if need be, they've got these adjusters so that I can tighten them up. Now it comes with the pole with shock cord to be able to put the tent up. Now, I find if the snow's too deep and you don't dig down deep enough, over time your pole will sink in the snow and the tent comes down. My solution, I grabbed just a round metal lid off of a jar at home. When I set the pole, I put that lid underneath so it gives it a little bit of a wider area, less chance of it sinking. And that's exactly what I feared would happen, is that by putting in the pole, I would pull up the stakes. So now that it's standing, it has all of these extra tie-out points all around it. Which means I can stake it down and pull it a little further away to keep it more taut and to give me a little bit more space inside. I'm going to go around and get those in. The tent is up, it's almost ready. I went all the way around it again. I dug a little deeper in the snow where the stakes go, and I made sure to drive them into the frozen ground a little bit. Now I'm not worried about it going anywhere. Now, most videos I've seen, when the snow is this deep, people will put a tarp on the snow, set up their bed on the tarp, and call it a day. I have the inner for this tent, and the inner has a bathtub floor. So I'm thinking, if I set up the inner on the bathtub floor comes up just enough that I'm not worried about any snow coming onto it or into it and getting my stuff wet. So now the inner's all set up, which should keep my bedding nice and dry. I could always open this door and tie it open so that I can access the stove if I need to. Lunch is very complicated today. I'm gonna boil that water. I brought a cup of soup. So now I've had my lunch, and I used the last bit of water that was in the pot to make myself a cup of tea. I'm going to sit and enjoy my cup of tea, and then I'm going to start setting up my bedding. Step one, I bought a thin accordion mat, but it's got a foil coating on one side. And that's supposed to reflect your body heat. Step two, I brought my big heavy wool sleeping bag. Tonight is supposed to get down to about -10 Celsius. But we're supposed to have a wind chill factor, which will bring it closer to about -20. So I also brought my woods mummy bag, which is about rated for about -7. So I'm sticking that inside of the wool bag. And we can't forget the Dollarama pillows. And I brought my Gear Doctor's Apollo Air insulated sleeping pad. Now, normally you blow it up, you put your sleeping bag on it. My wool sleeping bag is big enough. Normally this slides around and it's a little tougher to stay on it. So tonight I'm going to try blowing it up, and I'm going to put it inside the sleeping bag underneath my mummy bag. So I'll be in the mummy bag on top of the pad inside the wool bag. If I get cold, there's a problem. Now, when I bought this stove, I intended to use it at the cabin, and the roof of the cabin sits quite a bit higher, so I wanted a very long chimney. Now, because it's so long and the tent is so low, it doesn't brace the chimney enough. It's not supposed to be crazy windy tonight, but if there is a bit of a wind, I've attached some guy lines and I'm going to tie them off. Not super tight, because you don't want it really tight, whereas the wind will blow it and kink it over. You'll want it just snug enough so that if the wind blows it, the line will bring it back and just guide it to keep it in the center. Tent's up, bed's set up. All I have left to do is blow up the air mattress, but I think I'm going to do that just before I go to bed. Oh, I think I have plenty of wood cut for in the tent. I have a little bit of wood cut for outside, but I still have a great big log there. So I can slowly putter around this evening, and if I need more firewood, I've got that log there. And now it's time for a Waterloo dark. Before it gets too dark, I want to light this stove. I've already put in a couple of small logs and some kindling. But seeing as I've been working all day, I kind of want to make this firelight a little easy. So I'm going to use cotton pad. I dip these in melted Vaseline, and then I coated them with wax. Put these on top of a piece of bark. Front damper's wide open. The rear damper's wide open. Shouldn't take too long. That should go very well. I brought my little Coughlin's grill. Tonight's dinner is going to be very simple. And then we're going to dig into our little food bag. Ready-wise, pasta Alfredo. So once the water's boiling, I will pour it into the bag. let it rehydrate, and that'll be dinner. Now, anybody who's watched my videos will know that one of those bags won't be enough for me. So I brought a chunk of garlic bread wrapped in foil. Once the water is boiling and I put it in the bag, I gotta wait about 15 minutes. So it should take me about 15 minutes to cook this. And I brought a couple of sausages that I'm gonna cook while the food is rehydrating. So I forgot to film it. I just put the water in the boil bag. Every now and then, I'm shaking it up. Whew, it's hot. Just to try and get the stuff out of the corners. The foil packet that I have on the grill here, it's half of a garlic bread. The garlic bread is frozen and it's about this long. I cut it in half. I brought half with me. I left half at home. I brought the cheese packet that comes with it. I'm not going to need all of it because I only brought half. So whatever cheese is left from that packet, I'll just dump in with my food. Now, this garlic bread should be hot, which it is. So now we're going to open that up. Bust open our cheese. Sprinkle some of that on there. Give our bag another stir. Pour the rest of the cheese in there, and that should make it really delicious. Johnsonville Polish sausage. Oh, those fit through the grill, so let's not do that. Let's put them this way. Now these are smoked. They're pre-cooked. So I'm just throwing them on there to warm them up a little bit. A little bit of ash never hurt anybody. All right. The spork is short, the bag is tall. The knife fixes that. Look at that with some melted cheese in it. Oh, it looks delicious. Yep, it's delicious. And some nice garlic bread with cheese. Mm. Perfect. And I'll grab one of the sausages with no ash. Mm. Definitely tastes like dinner. Was delicious. But now I can toss some of this wood on here. Get a little bit of heat going. The temperature's slowly dropping, but it's still not super cold tonight. I think I'm going to sit out here by the fire for a while, because it's still only 6:15. Still early. And sit back, digest my supper, finish the last little remnants of this beer, and probably make myself a cup of tea a little later. Keep an eye on the stove, and crawl into bed. But it gets dark so early at this time of year. Way too early to go to bed. So it's 9 o'clock. I'm sitting inside the tent. I sat by the fire for a while. I cut up a little bit more firewood just to make sure I had enough for the night. I made some more kindling. Practiced making more ugly feather sticks. So if the fire gets really low tonight, and if I really need it, I can throw a bit of kindling in there. If not, I'll have kindling for the morning. Now, I'm playing it safe. I've got a CO2 detector in here. It's sitting up on my wood pile. I brought the thermometer inside. I've got it as far from the stove as I can, sitting on a little wood pile. And that's roughly what it's reading. About 15 degrees Celsius. It's almost 60 degrees, 62 degrees Fahrenheit in here. And that's as far from the wood stove as I can get it. Now, sitting right here, I've got the wood stove right next to me. It's warm. I've got enough sleeping bag that I'm not worried about being cold tonight. Even if the stove does go out, I'll be fine. I've got a bottle of water in case I get thirsty through the night. I even have my bear spray with me. No bears at this time of year, but you never can tell. Better safe than sorry. It's called bear spray, but it'll work on coyotes, it'll work on wolves, it'll work on anything that decides it wants to play with me. I will be fine. But now I think I'm going to stretch out. I blew up my my sleeping pad, and I put it inside my wool sleeping bag, but underneath my mummy bag that I'll be sleeping in. Hopefully that'll help keep things contained. But now I'm going to turn this off, stretch out, charge up some batteries, grab my e-reader, read for a while, and then call it a night. We'll see you guys in the morning. Morning, everyone. Just putting the water on. I can make my breakfast and a pot of coffee. Oh, wow. I got the door open because this tent is just a little bit too small. I have to put you on the outside so that you can actually see what I'm doing. It was a good night. It was a warm night. I went to bed with this shirt on, and I woke up in the night and I had to take it off. I was starting to sweat. It gets warm with those two sleeping bags. Wow. But I'm having the same old breakfast of oatmeal. Decided to be different today. We had apple and cinnamon, peaches and cream, and maple and brown sugar. So I grabbed one of each. So that should be some interesting flavors. Ah, there it is. I was going to say you have to excuse the bedhead, but bedhead's gone. Found my hat. I picked this up at Walmart. I think it was $10, $10 or $11, something like that. But with the little light that's on it, if I can find, there it is. I've got my headlamps, and they're great for when I'm doing something where I need a lot of light. But when I'm just moving around a little bit, that little bit of light is all I need. So I woke up during the night last night, and those two logs that I have under the stove had started to sink in the snow, and they were starting to tip and sending the stove all wonky. So I had to sacrifice a couple of pieces of my firewood and wedge them underneath to raise it up just a bit more, and that did the trick. What a great night's sleep last night. Nice and cozy in there. Putting my air pad inside the wool sleeping bag, but underneath my my mummy bag. Fantastic idea. I slept on there last night, and it never tried to move out from under me once. So when it's cold out and I'm using two sleeping bags, that's going to be the key. So I think the wood that I've got left, I'm going to pile it underneath the tree where I was cutting my wood yesterday. That way it's there if I come back, or if somebody else happens to decide to swing by here and have a little fire or something. On that note, you don't need to see me pack everything up. So I think I'm going to call it a day there. And I'm going to enjoy my coffee and take my time and putter around packing up. It's always great having you along. We appreciate everything you do. The likes, the comments. It all helps. And it's very appreciated. So if you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit the like button. you want to see more of it, hit the subscribe button. And if you're going to do that, you may as well hit the notification bell, and it'll let you know whenever we put out a new video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.